Hey guys, you ready to talk about outlining today? You should have spent this last week doing most of your research and taking a bunch of notes and learning about your topics so that you know whether you have something to say about it. So we're going to talk about making an outline for your paper. And making an outline is a really great idea because it can help you in a lot of ways. It can help you get your information organized and actually can help you see if you have enough information about the different details that you're wanting to talk about in your paper. And it can help you see which points really go together. And maybe you've got some notes that are things you don't even need, you're not going to even include because it doesn't really go with or support your idea in your paper that you're trying to get across. So it's a terrific idea. There are lots of different ways to do it. I'm going to show you one or two, and you can see what you like best. So there are some things that are important to know. You can go to a website for at Purdue University. It's the OWL lab. It's online writing lab, and it's Purdue OWL. So it's owl.purdue.edu, and that's where I got some of the information to talk about. And you can look there and see suggestions for how to do outlines and papers and different writing projects. So the first thing you do is you want to come up with your heading. So this is your idea, like your topic, right? So I'm going to show you a sample just using like a balanced diet. My topic is going to be balanced diet because I just wanted to show you how to do an outline. So you put the heading at the top, balanced diet. Okay, and then you have Roman numerals. So you want a Roman numeral for each paragraph, or each section. Doesn't necessarily always come out to be a paragraph, depending on what the length of your paper is. I'm not going to assign a length. You can talk to your parents and decide together what length your paper should be. But so the first one is the introduction. So that's Roman numeral 1. And under the Roman numerals, then you're going to have like capital A. And you're going to have the first point that you're making. So you're going to have an A and a B. When you have an A, you need to have a B. If you only have an A, you need to do more research to find something to fill in B. You need at least 2 things under each section. So I'm going to say nutrient groups. And I'm going to talk about those, introduce them in the first paragraph, and then how they interact. I'm going to talk about how they interact also. Okay. And then if I wanted to, I could put more details underneath each one of these. It'd be like a 1 and a 2. If I put a 1, I have to have a 2. But I'm not going to, so you just keep going. I'm not going to show you the detail, like extra details for my sample, but the idea is that you want to have the A and the B be similarly important as each other. So you need the same level of importance for the A and the B. If one of these things was super important and then one of them wasn't, they shouldn't be A and B. They would have, like, you would maybe move one of them, the super important one, you'd make it its own Roman numeral or something. So it needs to be like parallel importance. Same with the main topic. So 1 is an introduction, right? So 2 is going to be, I'm going to have my different nutrient groups for my other Roman numerals. So 2 would be like proteins, right? I think it's EI, not IE. And then under there, I'm going to put an A. This would be purpose. I'm going to talk about the purpose of the nutrients. And then the amount, like the amount you would need to have a balanced diet. And then Actually, I'm going to have a C. I'm going to have examples of what kind of food you can find that nutrient in. So each of my nutrient groups are going to have the same A, B, and C, purpose, amount, and nutrients. So like for Roman numeral 3, I'm going to have carbohydrates, and then I'm going to have these same A, B, and C. And if I wanted to, I could put underneath there the one and list and just put a keyword or two for the specific purpose of proteins, the amounts. So I can put a lot of detail in an outline if I want to and get even more organized, or you can stop at this level. And then, and then I'm going to have the Roman numeral 4 is fats, and I have the same A, B, and C. And then the 5th one is my conclusion. And my A is going to be to reiterate the groups. When you have a conclusion, you refer back to the introduction. You don't restate it, like you don't repeat it. You restate it in a different way. So I'm going to have, so the groups, and then for the, I would put like a challenge or a question. So once I explain all this, how these nutrients work together and why it's important and to have balance and what the purposes are, then I'm gonna, my readers need to know why to care, right? So at the end, maybe I'm gonna challenge them to eat more balanced, or I'm gonna ask a question for further thinking. You don't wanna ask a question that you need to answer in your paper, but a question that they would need to think about afterward. So that is my little sample outline. Let's see, there are probably a couple of other things I wanted to mention. Oh, to get your information organized to put in your outline, you can just look through your notes. You can, if you have notes on paper or note cards, you can make piles, like stacks of things that go together. You can make keywords, like you can just list, like I would put the words that I had in my outline here. I would just list for each Roman numeral thing that I wanted to do, because I know I want to talk about proteins, carbs, and fats, and then divide up all my information like in groups or chunks to put in the outline. Another way that you could have, if you want us to do this like more visually, although I think an outline for me it's pretty visual, but you can put your heading in the middle. So I put balanced diet, and then I could put that, protein, carbs, fats, and like in their own circles. And then I could just say under here amount and the other things that I'm going to say about it. So you can put it together any way that you want. It doesn't have to be with the Roman numerals and the letters. Just as long as it's organized and you see if you have enough information and if it goes together. Like this is really simple, and it would be easy for me to find out what amounts you should have and how you balance your food or whatever. But a different topic might be harder to find information. Like if I would only have one piece of information about this, I'd have to decide if I wanted to research more or just cut it out and use something else, or just have two main topics underneath my subject that I was doing my paper on. So let's see what else. So always have if you have an A, you always have to have a B. If you have a 1, you always have to have a 2. And if you, so there's the Roman numerals and then capital letters and then numbers. And then if you wanted even more detail under there, it would be lowercase letters. So you would put it like that. And I will have I'll post under the class notes, I'll have like a template you could just fill in if you wanted to print it out and just write it in there. Let's see. And then the other thing is you need to work on your thesis statement a little bit. It doesn't have to be finalized this week either, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit. There's a couple things you need to know about it. It needs to state your point, like the point of the whole paper. Like if my point is to get people to eat a balanced diet, one of my points would be that it's important to do that. And it needs to be specific. So I didn't come up with a thesis sentence for it for my little sample, but it would need to be specifically stated in there what the purpose is. But don't say, I'm writing this paper to get you to eat a more balanced diet. So don't like talk to the reader and say, I'm talking to you about this. You just stated it is important to, or eating a balanced diet increases energy or whatever it is I'm going to say about it. And you want to think about, when you're writing your thesis, you want to think about why it matters. Like what's important, why, like I said, the challenge that I might include at the end for my readers, what's in it for them, why do they want to read on. And your paper needs to support your thesis. Everything in your paper needs to support your thesis statement. So not that your thesis has to mention everything, but you do mention what you're going to talk about and it can be a lengthy sentence at the beginning. Let's see. So you needed to have decided, I think this week you basically need to know for sure if you're going to persuade or inform and who the audience is. So I don't know if I talked about this before. You need to know your audience. If you were, so like if I was going to talk about nutrition, I would need to decide, am I talking to people who know nothing about nutrition? Am I talking to people who are maybe they've gone to school, and I want to sound really academic or scientific. They've gone to school for nutrition or taken some classes. You want to decide what kind of audience you're talking to. Let's see. So just to recap, you want to list all your ideas. You want to group related ideas together, put them in order. Oh, I did want to mention, so when you put them in order, when you choose like your Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, you want to decide the order that you're going to talk about. Mine didn't matter too much, proteins, carbs, fat, whichever one comes first, but I could decide which one's the most important and list that one first. So you can go most important to least important, or sometimes you want to go least important to most important, so you end a little bit strong with your most important point. If it's something that can be listed chronologically according to time, you can decide on the order according to time, what came first. If it's geographic, you need to decide, like maybe if you're talking about something about Europe and you want to mention several countries, you might go from east to west or whatever. If it's something like in a physical place you're in, you could come in and scan the place and go like from left to right, or you could talk about things in order of more important, however you want to decide your order. But you do need to decide your order as you're making your outline, and you can change it when you go to write it, and even after it's written you can change it. It's fine. It doesn't have to be set in stone right now. But you do want to think about that. And then you just create your outline. You just plug things in and see if you have enough. And like I said, if you don't have enough information, just go back to some of those sources that you kept track of and get some more information. Or if you have too many points, you can cut out things that you don't think are very important. So that is it. And then next week, we're going to talk about writing your paper. Have a great week.